All right, so we have a 2016 Toyota Sienna. This is a front wheel drive. Exterior is a little rough. I know there was notes about it. The rear bumper was not blended very well, so you can see like differences with the camera. Even it's pretty nutty. There has been paintwork on pretty much all the doors, fenders, bumpers. You got overspray just everywhere. I believe there's some on the inside here, yeah, so along here. I'm gonna shut this again because this side has had most of the work. So once it shuts, right here had some damage that they had fixed, but it's just not right, so there's a little gap there. And then this gap from the top, and then it gets shorter, but it also pokes out some. It's pretty hefty. That's a pretty hefty gap. All right, and then your bumper kind of pops out. It's not perfect. The clips are not there. The bumper has the stuff there to re-secure it, but it's just clips are not doing what it's supposed to. More overspray in the liners here. So as you can see on the gap here, nice and uniform, nice and uniform, nice and uniform. And then on the top there was a few dents in those body rails, but nothing like paint damage, just dinged in the paint, right? So probably PDR those if they bug you enough. This is not very smooth here. Lights have good amount of oxidation, but everything works on that end. Some scrapes, scratches all around the vehicle. Tires are pretty much new. They're 2023. Brakes are also really good. I know these fronts have a lot of surface rust, but the rotors are in really good shape, front and back. Looks like the rear brakes have been replaced at some point. Not at the same time, I would say, because one's black, one's silver. Weird. But moving on from that. All right, engine bay. I'm gonna do a quick startup, so I'm just gonna set this in here, there with the camera, and I will be right back. All right, so starts right up, so that's good. No weird issues there. I've done it a few times. You'll see in your code scans there was a startability code that was current. I don't know if they messed with it earlier before I got it. Like I said, it was delivered to me at the lot from their other lot is what I was told. Oil level good, belt's been replaced. Top of the engine bay here looks really good. Filter is looking really good. Battery new, 2026. They did also treat the terminal ends. I like to see it. Few gripes. Brake fluid, pretty dark, not at the max. Should be something that gets serviced every 3 years, especially with new brakes for the most part all the way around the car. I know it looks like it's been sitting a lot, but that shouldn't change. Well, I mean with time, but like if it was done with the brakes, it shouldn't just change from sitting there. Coolant, way too much in there. So as I was driving, we did get some overflow out of the hose, came down front here. That should be like not all the way full when it's cold. It should be full when it's hot, right? And then as it cools, that should go down because the expansion of the coolant, you know, molecules, as they cool down, they become smaller. So as your radiator gets hot, it expands, overflows into that tank, and then as it cools off, it releases that valve and sucks what it needs back into the radiator. No worries about having enough to get back into the radiator. You're just having too much once it gets hot and pushes out what it's supposed to. So just adjust that. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Yeah, pretty short and sweet. Everything looks pretty good. I did have a gripe with this hose, discolored. You'll see some wrinkling starting to form here. Yeah, it's getting kind of brittle, so something to keep an eye on. It gets pretty hot around here in the summer, but overall it sounds good. I did one earlier this week that had like a low end noise that this doesn't have any of. I'm I'm gonna pause. Well, actually, I'm just gonna set this here. There is a sound with the AC. So that ticking sound as soon as I hit the AC button, essentially. Your compressor's down there. So most likely the clutch. It doesn't work great unless the vehicle's moving. It was only about 60 degrees when I was on the highway today, so I mean, any car would probably blow cold. In traffic, it seemed to get more humid, so definitely something to keep an eye on. The compressor's kicking on, you hear that, it is making noise. So it could be a low charge, but at the end of the day, the compressor is making noise. We're gonna stop here. All right, we're gonna start from the front looking to the back. I always start here, just lets me know if anything's been hanging down, sagging, dragging. You can really see if anything's shiny wet for any kind of leaks after the drive and stuff, so that's good. We don't see much of that. We do see quite a bit of scrapes under here. Lots of overspray around the vehicle. So, one of those quick paint fix things, but the bumper has a lot of scrapes under here. But oil pan's dry, looks good, filter's dry. And transmission looks dry. This is front wheel drive only. We're gonna go to each corner. We're at the driver front corner. This is gonna be your lift point. So you'll see a little bit of denting there. That's really normal. I mainly look to see if this is folded over. If that seam is split open, it can cause rust and everything there. And then your body and subframe all look good. You can see your cats there. Has all the plastic shielding and everything. And it's a fuel tank. So along here, all this looks really good still. I'm gonna go straight from the back now. Okay, so more overspray from the bumpers. And then your muffler there, big boy on this guy. So you can see on this side, you got a silver exhaust tip now. Some overspray on that body there, but the seams and everything are still really good. E-shield and all that's still intact, so it looks good there. Looks like whatever caused the issue, this is about the extent of what happened, that little bend in your exhaust right there. As far as what's happening in here, all looks good. So keep moving to the passenger side. Okay, so up in this corner there was some body work. You can see some scrapes and stuff on the plastics here, but the actual non-plastic, the real body, is in good shape. There's no damage up in here. Pinch welds are all still good. Spare looks good. Just some scrapes along that plastic, so not too bad. And then front corner here, body, subframe, the other side of the exhaust, V6, so you got like a little Y pipe situation there. So not terrible. Okay, so I always like to start here at the steering wheel on the interior. So you do have phone controls, Bluetooth and all that, radio, menu, and then source. Display is for this here. They didn't give it to me with a lot of fuel. Tire pressure light did stay on, brake lights on because I tested it, and I do have all the doors on, and I'm not currently buckled up. Mileage 155,794 at the end of our drive. Does have auto climate control. I did say the AC is not as cold as it should be. This does have the sport shift option, does work as intended. Also, the rear view camera does not have any kind of radar or parking sense that goes off. Cup holder here, auxiliary and USB little covers missing for both of those. Pretty normal, I've seen. As far as your dash, all that debris came out with your defrost. It does have a smart mirror where you can put your phones into, and then it does have buttons to open the rear doors. And then console, pretty deep, pretty nice. I like these. We're gonna move from here to the rear. I always like doing the vans because I can just look in when you open them all up, right? Door cards are in relatively good shape. I'll show you that one has a little tear in it on that side. The plastics on these do have some scuffs and stuff. Switches all do what they should. You'll see some light stains throughout these light colored seats. This little jumper does pop out, so you can just have two captains here. Not a lot of vans still have that. They usually get ditched. There are more rugs in the back. These are pretty good shape. A little bit of stains up in here, but they mostly have been there for the course of the vehicle's life. And then rear seats here, I did talk about that more when I was in the trunk section as well, but the seats got a couple stains in them. Plastics are in decent shape. We're just gonna hop over to the other side real quick. All right, over on the passenger side, so these doors are the ones that have been messed with for the most part, but they still open and close really nicely. This doesn't have any kind of shaking or jumping or hesitation. Buttons work as intended. Everything's there. Only power seat is on the driver's side. Manual seat on this side. Glove boxes here. Does have owner's manual in it, and I believe that's your wheel lock. Oh no, man. Let me see a wheel lock. So, interior wise, not bad. Could use like a good cleaning on these light seats on vans. I don't know why they do it. It's inevitable for them to just get dirty anyways. So I'm gonna stop here and move on through the inspection. So the rear lift gates on the stow and go vans are really pretty straightforward. It's just basically where the seats fold into. Carpet is a little pulled out on this side. There is some like scuffs and scrapes in the trim here, but it does have some mats for the rest of the vehicle to use. The carpet, not too bad. We got some stains in the back of the seat and stuff from being, it was all folded down, so probably hauling stuff. You can see where some scrapes along here. On this back portion while I'm here, this clip is broken. So the privacy thing you see is the sliding door outside of the glass. This one's apparently still in, but that clip is broken, so it won't work. And then this one here, you can see it's got a tear in it and a rip and then like a crease from going in diagonally. The windows are foldable open on the outside here. This is not a power rear lift gate here. It does have your spare tire stuff in here. It's pretty dusty in there. There is a filter actually in there for your rear climate, so definitely worth getting that looked at. And then typically I don't come up here, but these vans, your spare access is this little nut here, and the tire is actually under there. It comes out because you have storage back here for your seats when you need to actually load stuff. Back opens up really nicely. Stop there. This is going to be our scan of the vehicle's modules. So we did have quite a few faults come up here. So I'm just going to start at the top. We did have a current fault for startability performance. ABS, we did have a code for brake performance decline fault. Tire pressure light is on. There is no monitors reading. And then main body is basically all of these codes here down to the doors. Those are all lost communication since this does have power doors on the rear. Basically you have a low voltage event, or anytime the battery dies out, you'll get a bunch of codes because there's no communication to the modules in the back. Navigation just says there's a communication fault with the ECU, and then also a communication fault with the differential stability module. Could also be results of low voltage. The battery is brand new from what I can tell. You can tell where they cleaned it up, and battery has been replaced very recently. Also the voltage, I've had the key on for quite some time. We're maintaining a 1220. So that's really good, especially because like it's all digital stuff, right? And I've had this on for, you know, about 20-30 minutes while doing the inspection. Let this scan at the same time. So looks good there. Another thing, we always like to make sure the VIN here is what is on the vehicle dash and the door. That matches up really nicely, so we're just going to keep going on to our monitors. All right, so these are going to be our monitors here. Green checks across the board, that's what we like to see. Usually if you have the gray circles, it's either they're redundant, so something else will cover that, or it's just not needed on this trim or model. All green checks, that's what we like to see. We do about 10-mile plus drive. They did have a low fuel light on pretty much the whole time, so I was a little hesitant. I was wondering if I was going to get that evap check with the red X or not, because sometimes when there's really low fuel, that system kind of struggles to finish out. But we're just going to keep going through our inspection, stopping here. All right, so let's run through this conclusion. So my first thing is the bodywork you're aware of. It's not too bad. It's just poor paintwork and repair. My opinion, it would be like a really hard budget just kind of to make it happen. Sorry about that, I almost dropped that. So my issues was gaps on this side, how the repairs were kind of done, the overspray. I'm sure you know all of that. Drivability, car runs really good. You did have questions about rust underneath. I didn't see anything that was worth note. Pinch welds are all in really good shape. Even with the damage on this quarter, the rocker is in great shape there. Dings and dents aside, the underside is not bad at all. Car drives pretty good. That clicking sound is your AC compressor that I noted a few times. You hear it now. Push off. Immediately gone. So, AC compressor. It's not working great. It does what it's intended. As you're on the highway in town, it starts getting real humid. Not great. Starts and stops really good. Did have a code for startability, but I've started this several times without any issues. So I don't know if maybe it was just dead because it did have low voltage. They threw a battery in it and then started it up. And Toyotas, anytime you jump start them or change the battery, they'll start up and then immediately shut off. And then you start it again and it runs just fine. I've never seen a Toyota first time on jumpstart start up. You have to do it 2 times. It like does a system check, shuts itself off to make sure that was all what you wanted, and then you have to do it again. So that could be what that is. I have had no issues with it. It starts up fine, no hesitation, no rattle, no several clickovers. My other thing is the blending is not good on, like, this silver is just different. And then just some dents on the top, dings and dents all the way around the vehicle. Tires are in really good shape. They're all the same, but the oldest one I saw was a 2022. So something to just keep in mind. Brakes are pretty new. I did say I would really like to see a brake fluid exchange. This rotor did get hot at one point, but it's still smooth, no grooves, no weird pits or anything like that, so not bad. Overall conclusion, not a bad running vehicle. I really like the Siennas. I'm kind of partial to them. This one has been through some stuff, but it still runs and drives really good. The AC is something definitely need to get figured out, especially if you're people hauling in these. But we'll stop there.